Hey Vinyl community, this is Tim with the University of Vinyl. I am back with a new video today. You know, in 1982, I was 16 years old, and the bands at that point in time that I was listening to and getting into are now known as the kind of classic new wave bands. And today I just wanted to highlight four essential albums from the new wave years, the later new wave years. We could really say that new wave started in 1978, 1979. But I'm going to talk about two albums today from 1982 and two albums from 1983. Hopefully you all have these in your collection. If you do not, it is time to start looking. Without further delay, here is New Wave in 4 acts.
Give me some rhythm, I need some rhythm. It's the rhythm I need. Come on! I need this! It's a new song for you. It's called Respectable Street.
So that was an incredible concert that I just unearthed on YouTube recently. And it's the most exuberant and best quality concert that I've seen from XTC anywhere. You know, they're unfortunately, you know, back in the day, Top of the Pops and all those other video clips, Rock Palace from Germany, everything was lip synced. But this was an incredible live concert, and there was absolutely no lip syncing, no trickery going on, as you can well see from that video. Go check it out. Hopefully this entire video that I'm doing today is not going to be taken down because I'm just respecting the music, right? I'm just talking up this incredible music. English Settlement, XTC, the four guys from Swindon, England. This is just an incredible album. It was my number one pick as far as ranking the 12 XTC proper studio albums. It came in as my number one. I think I had Black Sea as number 2. Go check out that video if you haven't seen it. If you're an XTC fan, I think you'll enjoy it. But this is just a masterpiece. I have the Geffen double album, so this has got all the songs on it. There was a single edited single record that came out in the US. The reference copy, according to many people, is the original UK pressing, also a double album, and it had a nice embossed cover on it. However, this sounds pretty good. This copy does sound very good. It's on the Geffen label, of course. And Ape House Records has reissued most of the XTC catalog in pretty much audiophile quality. And I do have a copy of the Ape House double LP. I actually haven't listened to it yet. Too many records. But anyway, this is XTC English Settlement from 1982. So many fantastic songs on this thing. Dave Gregory was kind of expanding his guitar choices. He was using a Rickenbacker, which you can see in that video clip that I posted, for that kind of chiming and ringing 12-string guitar sound, a la the Byrds. And of course, Peter Buck at the time was doing the same thing from REM. Anyway, that is Act 1, XTC English Settlement. That was most of the song DNA from, of course, that band from Liverpool, A Flock of Seagulls. The US Festival took place in 1983. The first one took place in 1983, I believe. And they had a New Wave Day. And, of course, Flock of Seagulls had a pretty extensive set. But what really impresses me with their debut 1982 album is kind of the breadth of songs that are on the album. And despite the ridiculous hairdo of Mike Score, lead singer, and I think he's the only person left as far as trying to keep the torch alive as far as A Flock of Seagulls is concerned, I'm really impressed with their guitar player at the time, their lead guitar player, the original lead guitar player, Paul Reynolds. This guy had some incredible chops. And in my opinion, he rivaled The Edge, of course, from U2 at the time. And he also played, The Edge famously had the Gibson Explorer that he used extensively all the way up until All That You Can't Leave Behind. I think there's a couple songs that The Edge used the Explorer on that album from, when was that, 2000? But back to Paul Reynolds, you can see in that video clip on that DNA song, he's using a Gibson Firebird, a very interesting, similar sounding guitar than as the Gibson Explorer, and it looked fucking cool. So anyway, this is an incredible debut album, A Flock of Seagulls. You know, it's got Iran on it, of course. That was the huge hit. I like Space Age Love Song better than Iran, and I do like DNA, and also the last track on side 2, Man Made. This is on that Jive label, and you know, they had another album that came out very closely on the heels of this. It's escaping me right now the name of it. Had a couple more FM radio hits on it, and then they kind of lost their way. They had 1 or 2 more albums. Paul Reynolds ended up quitting. Who were the other guys in the band? Mike Score, I think his brother Ali was in the band, and then there was a bass player as well. I don't recall if Ali Score was the bass player or the drummer. Anyway, this is a fantastic album. A Flock of Seagulls, the debut album from 1982. That clip was from the US-Fest in 1983. That is Act 2. That's an incredible clip from Stop Making Sense, the 1984 concert film. The Talking Heads in the concert film was probably in the top 3 concert films of all time. Directed by the late great Jonathan Demme, and that tour that Demme documented for that film, of course, was for the tour for Speaking in Tongues, the 1983 Talking Heads masterpiece. This is where the Talking Heads, a new wave band, you know, their first album came out in 1977. So we're 6 years into their history at that point in time when this album came out, and they put everything together for this. There were MTV video hits. There was, I think, at least 2 songs featured in the Risky Business soundtrack. Just an incredible album that was all over the airwaves in 1983 when I was in high school. This, of course, came out on that Sire label. This is an original pressing. I have not heard I think Rhino came out with all of the reissues. I've heard that they sound good. I haven't heard any of them. I'm really happy. I have every single one of the Talking Heads albums, all OG first pressings. They all sound particularly great. So I haven't felt a need to go out and try any of the reissues. But that is just a seminal new wave band, of course, Talking Heads and Speaking in Tongues. This is going to be what I'm calling Act 3 New Wave. After Ian Curtis's suicide, Joy Division morphed into New Order, and the 1981 album Movement was a transitional album moving away from the dark landscape of Joy Division into the light with New Order. But the 1983 album, and you just saw a clip of the incredible track Age of Consent, Peter Hook and John Entwistle were the only two lead bass guitar players that I know of. Peter Hook, just an incredible bass player. It's too bad that New Order, they have parted ways. Peter Hook and Bernard Sumner, I don't know what happened there. Royalties, the same old song and dance, but Peter Hook is now touring in his own band called The Light. And I just saw a YouTube video with Peter Hook and The Light doing Age of Consent, one of those distance, each player's in their own house and they're cobbling everything together, but it sounded incredible. Peter Hook's son is in the band as well. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. But this is what I'm calling New Wave Act 4. Of course, the incredible Power, Corruption, and Lies album, released in May of 1983. More synthesizers were on this album than on the first New Order album. And there's just an uplifting tone in a lot of these songs, especially Age of Consent, which is basically a love song. It sounds great. I cannot say enough good things about this album. I was so happy I found this recently, a little over a month ago in a shop. I paid somewhat dearly for it, in my opinion, somewhere between $30 and $50, I recall. But it is an original. It's in mint condition. There's that kind of custom label. This was the die cut cover. And just that evocative, simplistic, stunning cover art is incredible. This is Act 4, New Wave. There it is, New Wave in 4 acts, and I'm really focused today on the ending period of New Wave before things went kind of more mainstream. So I talked about 4 albums, 1982, 2 released in 82, 2 released in 83, that have had a great impact on me as far as listening pleasure. They all came out in that heady period, when I was 16, turning 17, the last couple years in high school. What else can I say? This is just a quick one I wanted to throw out there. I wanted to shed some light on those new wave albums. I'm going to be taking a look at sophistopop and synth pop in the future. These are mainly going to be British bands and British albums, but wanted to take a look at that time period as well and some of those bands. I don't think any of these 4 bands today could be termed as sophistopop. Thanks for watching today. This was New Wave in 4 acts. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have not subscribed to the channel and you're enjoying what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do here is just basically talk about my collection, highlighting things that I have in my collection, sharing new music as I find it. I hope you find it entertaining, and I would appreciate it if you have time. Go ahead and just subscribe to the channel, like the video or videos. It helps me kind of get on the radar as far as the YouTube algorithm is concerned. If you're a super fan and you want to help support the channel, check out the new merch shop. I'm going to leave a link in the description. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great day.